Thanks for stopping by. My name's Mike McNamara. Welcome to Screen Magazine. A pornographer looking for love. Well, hey, who isn't? This is the subject of DANLAND. Wonderful film making its world premiere out here at Slamdance. I'm here with the director, Alexandra Berger. Alexandra, thanks for stopping by Screen Magazine.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, safe to say this is a bit of a racy subject, and you know you've done quite a bit of films. What led you to this particular topic?
Well, what happened is I had a friend who moved out of New York and he moved to DC, and when he did, he became very sort of alienated, and he joined a Yahoo group of black men who fulfilled women's fantasies of having multiple partners as a way to find connection in his life.
Who doesn't join a Yahoo group of
black men who, you know, try to fulfill women's fantasies. And so my lead guy, Porno Dan, connected up with that Yahoo group. So they connected up with that guy and said, hey, why don't you guys just have sex in my basement, and I'll give you guys snacks and drinks, and you know, I'll make a porno of it, and if you don't want your faces shown, you can wear masks. So they agreed, and then my friend came to New York to visit me, and he said, so I'm making pornos right now, and then that is how it started.
That might be the craziest story I've heard in a while. Isn't that weird when you have that moment where you're like, I've lived a very robust life. I've seen it all. I've done it all. And then I run into Alexandra Berger, who's telling me about her friend who shoots pornos in D.C. of African-American men wearing masks that are pleasuring some sexually repressed women.
It's a fantasy for the women, absolutely. I don't know that the women are necessarily sexually repressed. It may be the opposite. They may be sexually
They might have an appetite that's insatiable.
That might be more the case.
So I will, well, I'll just put it to you. For me, I would say, so where do you find the substance of this film? Because clearly it wouldn't be doing as well as it is and receiving the reviews that it is here at Slamdance if it was just a bunch of people having sex in a basement. So where did you find kind of the heart of this film?
Well, when I first met Dan, I went to his place. He lived in suburban Virginia at the time. I showed up by myself with a video camera, and I did an initial interview with him. And it was I was a little anxious. But when I got there, I was quite put at ease. And he and I sat down. I got to know him. And one of the things that I discovered about him immediately was he had just broken up with his girlfriend, his most recent girlfriend. You know, I asked him if it was difficult to find love while he was in this industry. And he said, yeah, and he and this girlfriend had just broken up. And through the course of talking with him, I could see that he was really, like, broken up about it. And I felt this intense sort of sadness about that. And that's what drew me to him, essentially. And so I followed him for a little over 3 years. He's a sex addict, so it wasn't really hard.
Dan is a sex addict.
Yeah, it wasn't hard to find, you know, him having sex with the other women. And then, you know, over time, I could see ones that he really cared about, and you know, so I ended up following his story about looking for intimacy and looking for love. And he's sort of not your prototypical porn guy. I mean, he's from an upper middle class family. His father worked for the Secretary of the Interior in D.C.
Not anymore.
No, he died. He died.
Oh, he died.
He's dead. That's
all right.
why.
Sorry
That's
to joke about that.
Yeah, no,
nice.
I know.
Fair
right,
enough.
but not anymore. And then.
That's great.
Well, it's actually after his father, well, I shouldn't give it away, but it is after his father died that he started in porn. And anyway, and he also has a college degree, so he's just not your average guy that's working in porn.
More of a guy that was thrown into the industry as opposed to someone that...
No, he chose it.
He really
he was actually, before he was in the porn industry, he worked for a Fortune 500 company, and he was a top salesman and had tons of awards. He was very successful, had a lot of money. I think he actually made enough money to set aside for a couple years for himself to do his fantasy, which was to open this porn company.
Guys, we're here with the director, Alexandra Berger, of the film DANLAND, which just made its world premiere out at Slamdance. My last question, and I'm just asking you because I'm interested to know, is did working on this film for the last 3 years make you kind of revisit your own sexuality and kind of take a look at what's happening in your own life? I have a friend that asked me to ask you that
question. Oh,
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, actually, I worked on it for the shooting was 3.5 years. I worked on the film a lot longer than that. The post took me longer.
Well, all the more reason, like being
so
around this type of personality and this intensity. Do you know what I mean? I think it's tough for someone to imagine, to fathom, like.
It absolutely affected me. I mean, it was.
What end?
I actually have to say it wasn't really positive. It wasn't like a positive thing. Yeah, it actually for a little while was kind of negative. It was a little hard for me to be around all of this. The people, some people were doing things that just I couldn't really wrap my mind around, and also when you're around all these people having sex, and it's like for him, he was initially shooting swingers, but then we went to ABN with him, and we saw more people doing it for business, and it just sometimes
did it kind of sterilize? Yeah, did it kind of?
Well, it definitely made me jaded. When we were editing, it became very difficult for me to determine what was too much, and I really had to keep screening it for people and then keep coming back. I mean, it's still like, I think a lot of people might say it's too much. Other people say it's not enough. But, there's quite a bit of, I wasn't going to make a documentary about pornography that didn't expose you to anything. I feel like that's what happens with all these documentaries about pornography. They just completely gloss over the world that these people live in. I wasn't going to do that movie. So this does have some challenging stuff in it.
Absolutely. Well, Alex, we're looking forward to seeing it. Thanks for stopping by Screen today.
All right, cool.
Guys, that was Alexandra Berger. Her controversial and exciting documentary, DANLAND, getting great reviews out here at Slamdance. You're going to be seeing it in your neighborhood very soon. Guys, Mike McNamara here at Screen Magazine. Thanks for stopping by.